Welcome, my name is Ethan Matthews. I work for Common Pool, the agency supporting the challenge. On the phone with me today, I have my colleagues Jason Morgan and Amy Klein. Please note that we are recording the session. If you have a question, please enter it into the chat box. We have a short agenda for today, introduction, short tour of the website, and then we'll open it up for questions.
This is Jason Morgan. I am the CEO of Common Pool. We're the agency that was contracted by the European Commission and the Mission Innovation participating countries in order to design and to build and to run the Mission Innovation Champions program. And so I'm going to be filling in for Olga this morning and talking to you a bit about the program and your call to action to participate. So the Mission Innovation Program is a multinational initiative of participating countries who want to see increased investment in clean technologies and climate change solutions. Mission Innovation is a commitment from those countries to double spending in public research and development and to form public-private partnerships in order to advance key technologies and supportive services that will combat the challenges of climate change. One of the hallmark programs of Mission Innovations is to focus not just on the technology, but also the talent that underlies that movement. And so Mission Innovation Champions is kind of the keystone effort to assemble talented individuals who are key opinion leaders and activators in their respective fields who can come forward and who can be exposed to the participating countries. Many of those countries have dedicated ministers of energy who look not only to their colleagues across the Mission Innovation Network, but also look to the Mission Innovation Champions to see what the latest developments are and to really gain access to this pool of talent so that as they formulate their individual plans for each country, they have people standing by who can help either inform that effort or who can help activate those plans. So again, Mission Innovation Champions is a key component of the Mission Innovation Initiative and the participating countries. So with that said, I'd like to turn your attention to the screen share. This is the michampions.net website. Mission Innovation Champions is entering its second cycle or its second rotation, meaning that we've already named the first cohort of champions, and now we're preparing to name the second cohort in early June of this year in Chile. So one of the first questions that we get is kind of, well, what exactly do I have to do to participate in this program? And the purpose of this webinar is to ensure that all of you are aware that we need everyone who's going to fill out an application to register over the next 8 days. So the registration deadline is March 18th at 5 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time, 5 p.m. GMT on March 18th. That again is only 8 days away. If you go to the website, you can see from your screen here in the upper right-hand corner, there's a very simple call to action. It says 8 days to register. And when you click on that button, what you'll be prompted to do is to fill out some very basic information, such as your name, your email, and then this will take you through a cycle of what we call multi-factor authentication, which means that an email will be sent to the account that you provide, and you have to click on a link in that email in order to complete the first step of registration. And then once you've done that, you will return to the site and you will answer a very quick form. There are 9 questions that you have to answer in order to complete the second step of registration. So again, registration is a 2-step process. You have to complete that process within the next 8 days. The first step is just to fill out basic contact information to receive an email and then to click on the link in that email. The second step is to complete 9 basic questions, such as your name, organization and title, some basic contact information, and to tell us how you heard about this program. Now, as you scroll through the homepage, you're going to see that there are kind of a lot of different quick pieces of information that allow you to learn a lot more about this program. One of them is, and Ethan, if you could stop there, you are provided an opportunity not only to register for yourself, But if you've read through this whole website and you want to nominate someone else who you think would be a great candidate for this program, on the right-hand side of the early bands of the website, you can click on the form which says nominate. And what nominate does is it allows you to enter some contact information for the candidate that you want to nominate. And then that candidate is prompted to return to this website and then to complete the registration process. And so the nomination form is here. You are going to enter some basic information about that candidate, and then that candidate will be prompted to go to the website and to complete registration within the next 8 days. Again, you have to register in order to apply for this program. Next, I want to talk about kind of the incentives to participate. Now, I've already outlined briefly kind of what mission innovation is and the extent to which they rely upon the mission innovation champions. One of the key components to this year is that anyone that applies and is designated as a champion will be flown to Vina del Mar, Chile in early June of this year in order to attend the Mission Innovation 5th ministerial event. Now, the last class of champions attended the 4th ministerial event in Vancouver, Canada, and they were introduced to ministers of energy for the participating country. They were promoted as key innovators in their fields. And now that they're part of that network, they continue to gain access, particularly to the public-private partnership portion of the mission innovation agenda. And so being attached to mission innovation through ongoing communications and exposure and exchange is really the long-term plan for the champions. But in the short term, all of you will be celebrated on a stage in Vina del Mar, Chile in early June of this year. So please, if you're planning to apply, hold early June for your opportunity to be flown to Chile at no cost to you, and then to participate in this networking and exposure event, okay? So one of the things that we did when we first sought to develop this program and to build this website is to make sure that it was completely open, transparent, and fair, so that when you come to this site, you know exactly what is required of you and you know exactly what you have to do. I've just walked you through the basics of how you will register, but once you've registered, you then have to complete an application by April 1st of this year. That's only 22 days away, but you can read what's in the application form even before you've registered. So even if you could click on that link, application, there you'll see it's a very brief application. You basically have to upload your CV, tell your story, give us a quick video pitch so that you can make a personal plea to our judges. You have to claim your focus area, which is about 8 plus 1 other different areas of investment from the mission innovation countries. You have to claim your geographic focus, measure impact to date, and talk about your future vision. So that's 7 basic questions or tasks in 2 different sections of the application form. So once people see what they have to do, the next question we often get asked is, okay, but how am I going to be judged? There's a lot of people that are going to be applying for this, and I want to know kind of what I'm up against here. And so we're very transparent and accountable around that. So if you go to the menu and you click on scoring process, you can then see the 4 different criteria that all the judges are going to use to assess each of the qualified applicants. Now, those 4 criteria are contained within a trait scoring rubric. And so as you look at those traits, the first is audacious. We want to know that you're bold. The second is impact. We want to show that you've had an impact in your field. The third is vision. We want to know that you have a bold sense of the future of clean tech innovation. And the last is inventive. We want to know that you've accomplished things and that you know how things work. So if you look at any one of those traits, Ethan, I'll ask you to pause here on inventive. You'll see the word or the labeled trait, which is inventive. You'll see a series of questions that are there to clarify the definition of that labeled trait. Then you have this 5-point scale, and as you toggle back and forth between these single integer scoring ranges, you'll see that these pre-populated definitions of what a particular score means appears above that number. And this allows our judges really to understand what these scores are as they're calculating how well you're doing against each of the criteria. And then you'll see anchor words at the extreme ends of these scales. Now, this accomplishes a few things. It allows you to test drive exactly what judges are going to do as they score your application. But the other thing that it does is it allows you to reverse engineer the process so that you can introduce words and language that are contained at the higher ends of these scoring ranges into your application. By offering a completely transparent and accountable process, you know exactly what's expected of you, and you know exactly what judges have to do in order to score your application. The other thing you should know is that you will be assigned 5 judges who are going to score each one of the valid applications that are distributed to them, which means for you, you're going to get a score and a comment to justify each score in this rubric from every one of those judges. And oftentimes what we find is that people getting that feedback from those judges actually really helps kind of shape their thinking, helps them to get response and exchange around their accomplishments, and really to kind of interact with judges in a way that doesn't usually happen for a program like this. Now, the next question that we often get asked is, okay, I know what I've got to do, I know how I'm going to be scored, but how is this fair? You promised fairness. And that's where we will show you through this link a level playing field, exactly how we calculate the scores that will be assigned to you. So what we need to ensure is that there's no advantage for one applicant if they get assigned 5 easy graders or 5 easy scores versus someone else that may get assigned 5 hard scores or hard graders. And so we statistically normalize that assessment. That means that we look at the typical scores across all the judges after that scoring has been completed. And then we will rescale each judge's score based upon 2 measures of distribution that are described on this webpage. And what this means is that if, for instance, a judge is only really scoring between 0 and 2, because the 2 is the highest score that judge typically gives, then we are stretching out that band of review to ensure that that is mathematically fair. We've used the same process for NASA, for MIT, for Sweden, the United Arab Emirates, for countries and clients of ours around the world in very high stakes competitions. And this has become, this form of normalization has become the industry standard for ensuring fair scoring during a subjective evaluation such as this one. So we've given you every instance of exactly how we're doing this, and we've done it in both technical and layman's terms. So lastly, I'll say that the final question we often get asked is, I know what I've got to do, I know how I'm going to be scored, I know it's going to be fair, but who is it that's doing the scoring? And there we've laid out the identities of all the judges who are going to be reviewing each of those applications. And you'll see these are highly qualified professionals from the participating countries. There will be a random distribution out to these judges, and they will be assigned up to 10 applications from the pool of applicants. Each of those applications will be scored and commented upon by 5 of these judges. And you'll see that these people are highly qualified, they're key opinion leaders from their representative countries, and their opinions matter. So we really hope that this experience is positive for you. This program is not about winners versus non-winners. This program is about building a network and giving talented individuals exposure to key opinion leaders and authorities across all of these participating countries. The other thing I'll say before we turn it over to questions is that if you go back to the homepage, Mission Innovation Champions, there are a lot of places where you can see who the participating countries are. In a quick form, frequently asked questions band on the homepage, we're laying out those countries. There's about 20 of them, including the European Commission. And then if you go to the About page, you can also see exactly those countries and their name there. If you are representing one of those countries, if you're from and or work in one of those countries, then you can participate, and that country will pay for your ticket to go to Chile in early June of this year. And those individual countries are there named. You can see Ethan is hovering over a paragraph on the About page. I think it's the 4th paragraph that lays out each of those countries. We encourage you to spend time reading through the rest of the website and to registering within the next 8 days. Again, please register. We highly encourage you to get that done so that you can spend time between now and April 1st completing your applications. Okay, so now I'm going to turn it over. We're going to curate a question and answer session so that we can ensure that anyone who needs more information can get it on this webinar. This webinar is recorded and will be shared. And then lastly, if you can't get your questions answered, you can go to, during the webinar at least, you can go to the website and you can contact us with a dedicated email address, and we will ensure that those questions get answered even outside of the webinar format. You can see Ethan is now hovering over the contact button in the lower right-hand corner of the web page, and that's how you can get other questions answered after this webinar.
Hello, everybody. This is Amy. I don't see that any of you entered any questions into the chat box. So if you have a question, please speak up and we will answer you right away.
This is Nizar Khudari from Saudi Arabia, King Abdulaziz City for Science and Technology. Thank you very much for your introduction to the Mission Innovation Champion website. It's really valuable information that will get it. My question is this: if someone nominated me, do I have to do, again, upload the website and do something else?
Yes, this is Jason Morgan. If you have been nominated, you are still required to register and then complete the application. So again, in your instance, I'm assuming either you have nominated someone or you have been nominated. In every case, you need to go to the website, click on the register button. You only have 8 days to do that. Once you've completed the registration process, you then have until April 21st, 22 days from now, in order to complete the application. After registering, you will enter kind of the back end of the website, and it's very easy to navigate to complete the application. It is an intuitive process, but again, register within the next 8 days, whether you're a candidate or a nominee, and then complete the application process by April 1st. Okay, so we have another question in the chat. It says, can individuals from the UK still apply, given that the UK has now left the EU? Okay, so it's important to note that the UK is an independent member nation of the Mission Innovation Champions program. And so regardless of the UK standing in the EU, the representatives of the UK can apply to this program. The UK has not withdrawn from the multinational Mission Innovation Initiative. It is still a member of the Mission Innovation Initiative, and therefore, as a participating country for this program, people from the UK can apply and register. Thank you.
Olga, I believe you're in right now.
Yes,
Are you
I'm
able
here. You hear me now?
Yes, we hear you now.
Hello. Hello, everybody. I'm very happy to be here representing the Commission, and I'm very happy also that you meet the Champion Program. And I hope you will complete all the application forms, and we will have a lot of we can see candidates for applying to this good job to help us in the future, not me also, but all Mission Innovation countries in developing further these activities. Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you, Olga.
Hello?
Does anyone else? Oh, thank you, Olga. Does anybody else have any questions?
Okay, so this is Jason Morgan. I'm going to say a few final words before we sign off. I'm kind of beating a drum here, but again, this webinar is all about helping you get through the registration process in the next 8 days. Clearly, you have an opportunity to look through the website and to see what's required of you and the benefits of participating. However, if you've gone through that process and you realize that this isn't just right for you, we do strongly encourage you to nominate others, to click on the nominate form and to nominate others who you think are worthy of this recognition and who would benefit from participation. Either register and or nominate. That has to happen within the next 8 days. And we thank you so much for your time and attention. And we look forward to welcoming all of our champions in Vina del Mar, Chile in early June of this year at the Mission Innovation 5th Ministerial event. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for your event.
Hello.
Yes.
May I? Okay. I received some questions from some of the countries and the nominees. They want clearly Jason to know or Amy to know what is the, for instance, what they need to feel a good video segment. What are the main expectations that you have about this?
Yeah, that's a great question. So once you've registered and you've begun completing your application, there are 7 different questions or tasks in 2 different sections. It's a rather short form application. However, one of those asks you to present a quick video pitch. And we've done a lot of programs that include this aspect of an application. And what we found is that the best scoring video pitches are often not the ones where the applicant has invested a lot of time and money into the production value of the video. Actually, the highest scoring video pitches are usually the ones where it's just you, the individual, using an iPhone or a simple recorder and speaking very authentically into the camera. Again, do not expect to spend any money or inordinate resources trying to produce a polished video. The most effective videos are those where the individual that is the candidate that's making the application is speaking very authentically and sincerely into the camera and explaining their personal story and why they think that they are qualified to be a Mission Innovation Champion. It's all about authenticity, and it's all about giving a genuine presentation of yourself. And Olga, thank you for introducing that question. I know that Olga has received separate correspondence from individuals that are candidates. And so at any time, if anyone has either emailed out a question to anyone on our team or on Olga's team, we will do our best to get back to you as quickly as possible.
Okay. Another question I received, I think you answered, but from the countries, that is about the program to the nominee, but I think you answer in the candidate of Saudi Arabia. I think that you give some explanation that they need to fill registration in any case, and this is an important fact.
Absolutely. So the only way you can apply is if you first register within the next 8 days. If you have been nominated, meaning you've received an email that says someone has nominated you to participate as a candidate or nominee, you still need to go in and complete registration and then complete an application. So we've got one other question. It says, is there only one champion from all the EU countries which don't have a separate MI representation? Yes, so there are approximately 20 countries that are participating, and that includes the European Commission representing the European Union. In some cases, there is overlap, so a participating country may or may not also be part of the European Union or European Commission. So the European Union, European Commission will be designating one representative in addition to those that represent each of the participating countries that are named on the website. That's a great question. So thank you very much, Adelaide Mohammed, for posting it in the chat. Olga, do you have any other questions that you've received?
No, at the moment, not. These were the 2 main questions, one about the video and another about the nominees.
Absolutely.
Just a reminder that this webinar, the recording of it, will be posted on our website if you would like to share it with anyone. It'll be put up there shortly as soon as it's available. Were there any additional questions?
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We have a question here from Elise. Amy, you might want to answer this. It says, the video will be distributed as a question, and you might want to talk about how it will be distributed and where.
The video will be distributed, excuse me, on the website, and it is a part of your application. And when it's chosen, if it's chosen, it would also be posted on the website.
No, I think they're asking the video of this webinar.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't see the question on my end. The video, the recording of the webinar is going to be posted on our website at www.michampions.net. We just have to process it, and then it'll be posted as soon as possible.
Okay, so we are at the top of the hour. Thank you again, everyone, for your participation in this webinar. Again, we very much look forward to learning more about you and or those that you might nominate. So have a great week, and we hope to see you soon.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.